Hello to my remaining 3 active subscribers. At least that's most likely all that remains of my fan base in the time that I was gone, according to this mathematical formula. This formula was devised by the smartest and wisest man on YouTube, Vsauce himself. Okay, but for real though, I am so sorry I was gone for like over a month. The reason that happened was because my computer just flat out broke. It was a laptop, and apparently its hard drive got damaged pretty badly. Which sucks because I'd lost pretty much everything on that computer that wasn't stored in the cloud somewhere. So my Dark Souls saves, old videos, music playlists, and all that stuff. Apparently it was caused by moving the computer around too much, and that I shouldn't do that anymore. Which is weird because I'm pretty sure that's literally what a laptop is for. But anyhow, I got that fixed and installed a new hard drive on it, and then I bought a new computer altogether that I'm going to be using for gaming and making videos and all that stuff. It's a pretty high-end gaming computer, capable of the incredibly innovative feature of recording and playing a game at the same time. So anyhow, in light of that, this channel is now going to be a Let's Play channel. Here's some gameplay to give you a little preview of what's to come.
Welcome to Minecraft Let's Play channel. I heard that these were really popular nowadays, so I guess we're gonna be starting out, break some dirt and all that.
Okay, that last part was a joke, if that wasn't obvious. I am going to be doing some gaming stuff on a different channel though. And don't worry, it won't affect the upload schedule on this channel whatsoever. I mean, I play video games all the time anyways, so I'd just be recording it now. So please, I hate to self-promote here, but if you're interested, I would really appreciate it if you could head down to that channel as well, maybe drop a sub and watch some videos, because it just needs a little bit of traction to get off of the ground. It would mean the world to me if you could check it out. Anyhow, with that out of the way, let's get to the stories. I grew up in a small town in northern New England, in a house from the 1800s that was once a tavern frequented by coaches on the way to Canada. Our house was the only property at the end of a steep dirt road that snaked into the woods. Our nearest neighbor owned a small farm that sold vegetables, firewood, maple products, and hay that grew in the many open fields along the main road. The farmer was in his early 50s and had a younger brother in his late 30s who operated a small sawmill about a mile from our house. I remember him being nice, handsome in retrospect, tall and lean with a deep tan and a broad smile. Like anyone in a small town, we got to know of him through chance encounters around town and gossip passed down from friends and acquaintances. Most of the gossip centered around his rapid turnover of girlfriends and the strained relationship he had with his brother, our neighbor. He had a large Arundel terrier named Maple that was always wandering around the road and patrolling the farm. She escorted me when I walked home from school and joined me when I was exploring the woods. I was nervous around big dogs, but at the same time I loved animals and was flattered that she was so protective of me. He often drove past me in his pickup when I was walking home from school or the library. It seemed like each time he idled the truck to say hi, he'd extend a different invitation. Sometimes he'd invite me to come visit and help him plant in his greenhouse. Other times he'd offer to show me the sugar house he shared with his brother. He had a man-made pond behind his house, and beginning in the early summer, he'd remind me that my parents and I could swim in it at any time. I didn't think this behavior was strange at all. I was a sheltered 10-year-old girl and painfully shy, especially around men. The only reason I didn't take him up on any of his invitations was because talking to adults in general made me nervous, trip over my words, and sound amazingly stupid. That summer, the afternoon heat reached a dizzying peak, and I started making the dusty trek to his house to cool off in the pond. I had a hideous lime green Land's End one-piece that I hid under shorts and a t-shirt until I could change in the privacy of the beech trees by the pond. The first few times I went swimming, I wasn't even aware of him being home. The house was dark and quiet, and I just assumed he was working. After each swim, I had to walk back up a steep hill through tall grass that hid the pond from the road. There was no way to get back without cutting through his backyard. As the summer wore on, he was home more and more. and began to block me on the path to give me gifts. Quarts of maple syrup, sunflower seedlings from the greenhouse, etc. I didn't think much of it because he always told me that the gifts were for me to share with my parents. Still, I never told either my mom or dad about him because I technically wasn't supposed to walk that far away from the house. One day, I stayed at the pond late into the evening. As I was walking back up past the house, he came out from the darkened screened porch that overlooked the pond. He seemed feverish. The whites of his eyes were unusually large and bright. He put his hand on my shoulder and gripped it hard. He said that I looked tired and that I should come inside to have a snack and that he would drive me home. He tried steering me inside of his house. I started fumbling for excuses. I told him that I had to get home before dark or my mom would ground me and that I wouldn't be able to swim at the pond anymore. His face darkened, but he relented. He said that, at the very least, he should drive me home. I was hot and exhausted, and his grip was far too strong to resist, as he guided me to the truck. Almost immediately after I climbed into the passenger seat, Maple appeared from nowhere and leapt into the cab. He scolded her and tried shooing her away. That was the first time I had seen him genuinely angry. So much so that the muscles of his jaw roped under his skin. Maple ignored him, sitting on the floor by my feet and resting her head on my lap the whole ride back to the top of the dirt road. That was the last time I went swimming at his pool. One night that October, driving back from a fair with my parents, my dad's cell phone rang. For a while, he didn't say anything at all. Then he began to speak in a low, anxious tone with my mother. I couldn't make out what they were saying from the back seat. I finally wrenched the story from my father after days of prying. The man had died in an accident at the sawmill. His leg had been nearly severed at the thigh and he had bled out. No one had heard his cries for help. It wasn't until several years later that I unearthed the whole truth. When the police came to his house, they found a huge collection of child pornography. To this day, I still wonder if he would have driven me home if Maple hadn't jumped into the front seat of the truck. So this happened over this past weekend. Me and my friend absolutely love to explore abandoned places, and the biggest place we've been, which is where this story takes place, is in an abandoned hospital that is absolutely massive. It's more of a campus area, so not just one big building, but multiple buildings, all connected by underground tunnels. So the time this happened, it was our third time going there. Our first time, we just scoped it out and found an entrance, but we didn't explore. The second time we went in and met 3 others there and explored a little bit. Then this last time we went, some really weird shit happened. So it's me and my friend Josh and my other friend Tony, and we go inside the same way we always do. We end up exploring, just the 3 of us alone for a bit, and stumble upon 3 others, and we ask if they want to join us. They ended up being really cool guys, and they were actually film students that go to a nearby college. So we explore for around an hour and a half, and we're more just showing them around than actually exploring because we've been there before. So anyway, we were in the upstairs of one of the main buildings, and they're all just messing around with the things in the room, taking pictures, messing around with the piano. I've already seen all of this, so I took a few pictures, then go stand near the other side of the room that we came into, which happened to be right around the corner from the stairs. So I'm standing there scrolling through my phone, answering texts and whatnot, and I happen to see something out of my peripheral vision. I look up at the doorway, leading to the right near the stairs, and I swear, I see a head poking around the corner. Then the head darts back around the corner like he's trying not to be seen. So, staying calm, I walk over to the rest of the group and tell them what I think I just saw. Everyone goes dead silent, and we hear nothing. So my friend Josh decides to be the first to look, and I'm right behind him. He goes around the corner as I'm getting my knife out, just in case, and I put it in my hand. So Josh turns the corner and later tells me he saw this guy at the bottom of the stairs with a stick in his hand, ready to hit someone. Then I come around the corner and he drops the stick. So we greet him, a little sketched out that he tried to get away like that, and I immediately have a bad feeling, and I think everyone else did. First of all, he had no backpack, no camera, no mask for asbestos and all that stuff that's in the air, and all he had were tattered jeans and a military hat, kind of a camo basic training hat. It's a little sketchy, but there are 6 of us, so really, what the hell is he gonna do? So my friend asks if he wants to explore with us, and he says sure, but he's trying to find a friend. So we start looking for his friend with him, and I soon realize he's taking us in circles. Literal circles around the whole building, going upstairs, downstairs, to the basement, upstairs, all while he's texting or calling his friend every few minutes to try and find him. So finally he stops after an hour of aimless wandering, and we get a second to talk to him. One of the film students had been filming all day and asked if he was familiar with the place. He says yeah, he's been here a few times and he knows the place pretty well, despite him taking us around in circles for an hour. So the film student asks if he can get him on video explaining some history of the place, and this sketchy guy says,
No, I can't do that.
This strikes me as pretty weird, but whatever. Maybe he doesn't want to be videotaped or whatever. So then the sketchy guy insists that we stay here while he goes and gets his friend, and then he will meet back up with us here. So he told us to just hang out for 10 minutes or so. That was his words. So my friend Josh says that that's fine and we'll wait, and we ask for his phone number so we can get into contact. Well, this guy flat out refuses to give Josh his phone number, giving excuses like his phone is dead, right as I see him unlock his phone, so it's definitely not dead. So my friend says, here, just take my number then, and he agrees. Josh gives him his phone number, and he goes on his way to find his friend. The second he's out of earshot, I get everyone together, and we all share how fucking sketchy we think this guy is, and decide we need to leave before him and his quote-unquote friend get back. At this point, we don't know where we are, and we're all turned around from going in circles for an hour. So we just go back the way we came. Eventually, we were in a familiar area, but we can't find the tunnel back to the building we entered at. So we walk up a staircase, and there he is, with his friend. I was honestly expecting him to be back with about like 12 guys to do whatever they wanted to us. So this gave me some peace of mind, only seeing one guy. So we follow him in circles for another half an hour, trying to find an auditorium of some sorts. Then I finally recognize where we are, and I see the tunnel that we need to go down to get out. So I tell everybody this is the way out, and everyone agrees that we need to go and that we're done with this guy. So we say our goodbyes to this sketchy guy and his friend that are now telling us he knows where it is, and just to follow him a little longer. Luckily, all of us had bad vibes from this guy, and we all just wanted to get the fuck out of here. So we go through the last tunnel to get out, and as we are in the room with the window I climb out of to leave, there are these 3 guys all dressed in black, like typical metalhead looking guys with band t-shirts and gauges and chained pants, stuff like that. One of them is kind of fat, one of them has a stutter, and the other has hair that went past his eyes. The kid with the stutter asks us if we've seen their friend, which he explained was the guy with the camo hat on. Keep in mind, this guy never mentioned anyone else coming with him, just his one friend that he met up with. So the 3 guys ask us if we're leaving, and one of us says yes. And so they go back out the window we need to go out to get our vehicles and say that they'll walk us out. At this point, I knew some sketchy shit was going on, so I give Josh the "this is fucking sketchy shit, man" look, and he just looks back wide-eyed, and we proceed to follow them out. Well, by the time any of us get out, those 3 weird fuckers are gone. Nowhere in sight when they said they were here to meet with the sketchy guy in the camo hat. Whatever their intentions were, to rob us or whatever their intentions, they were not good. So we all decided to part ways and leave quickly. We all make it back in our vehicles, and needless to say, we will not be going back there. So, sketchy guys in the abandoned hospital, let's not meet again.